Welcome to another episode of African Couch Potato, the mashup. I am your host, Gino, and today we are joined by an editor extraordinaire who goes by the name of Chad Pop. African Couch Potato, the mashup. Chad, how are you doing?
I'm all good. You?
I'm good. Is Chad Pop your full name?
Yeah, man. I was just destined for greatness.
You should have been a singer, actually. Did you not consider music?
You see, God's blessed me with many gifts, but that is not one of them.
Because your surname, Chad Pop, you resemble Bruno Mars. Everything about your making is of a pop star.
Hey, dude, thank you for the compliments, man.
And then you decided you're going to hide all of that from the world and edit.
Sit behind the computer. Hey, man.
When nobody sees you.
I tried my 6 months of acting during my years of study and stuff. Yeah, man. That showed me that looks aren't everything.
So you studied at AFDA?
Yeah, I did.
Did you study editing or did you study on-screen stuff?
So I did a bit of everything. You know, in your first year, you get the opportunity to do multiple subjects. So for my first 6 months, I did producing and writing and editing and visual effects. The next 6 months, so second semester, I did stage and screen performance, which I'm not going to lie, I thoroughly enjoyed. It was such an eye-opener in terms of where I'm headed now, in terms of wanting to direct more, you know, taking what I learned back then and implementing it now with my suggestions to my cast, you know.
Do you still want to be an actor?
I think I'm going to Tarantino that shit, I want to put myself in my own thing. And I've done it,
Yes.
We had a quick gig for Supersport, and I just, I couldn't find someone in the time, and I just shoved myself in front of a screen and asked someone to hit record.
I think that's the best watermark, because even if you watch like Kill Bill or Django, he goes on for 5 minutes and then he kills himself off. But at least you know it's a Tarantino film because he was in it.
Guaranteed.
End of AFDA, you now get an award for Best Director. Does this mean that now you can go into the world as a director, or were you shocked when you started working?
I was shocked, to be honest. I really thought, I'm the bee's knees, came out of AFDA, was nominated for multiple films and nominated for multiple categories, like you said, the directing, the editing as well. But I was shocked at the lack of industry knowledge, and I guess that comes from being sheltered when you are studying. You get taught all these things, and you get taught this is actually how it's meant to be. But the reality is that's 9 times out of 10, somewhere, somehow, it doesn't work out that way.
Wait, so you were nominated for multiple things? Because I think I said Best Director and it was actually Best Editor. Okay.
Yes. But we got nominated for Best Film as well, for both. I was actually lucky to have worked on multiple, because we were a bit short that year in terms of editors. I managed to work on multiple films, including, so it was my final year, which is third year, but I worked on an honors film as well, which also got nominated for Best Film. And you learn a lot. And I think that's sort of my one thing that up until today, no matter who it is, like, just listen and learn. Because they might drop some nuggets of gold, and if your ears are blocked, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah. Now you get into the real world, you understand there's a lack of industry knowledge. What shocks you the most? Is it the pace of work, or is it just like the comprehension of different tools that you need to use to cut?
I think it's more the pace of work, more than anything else, because the amount of times we've gone out, and I think this, we've gone out, we've shot one day, we've edited the next day, we're doing sound, that evening, and it's on TV 2 days later.
Yeah.
And I think that for me is what the big shocker was. And the constant work, at one point in my career, I felt like a button pusher. Because I felt like I was just churning out work, day in, day out. I'm just pumping out all this work. And I felt like I wasn't doing anything meaningful. yeah, after a while, you kind of have to push back and say, listen, I can do more.
But is there no sort of survival or almost like a baptism by fire of you having to push those buttons? Because in order for you to give something that is great, you need to learn the ropes.
That is very true. Very true. And I think being at TNW, which is an agency, that was definitely baptism by fire. My first directing gig, I messed up. It was my second week there, and they sent me to go and direct an ad with Warren Whiteley and all these big Springbok players, and I didn't know. I was so like flustered when I got there because of everything that was going on. I landed up calling Gareth.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing. Please come and save me. Which was, it was a brilliant learning experience because, you know, he rocked up there and he's like, okay, so what's the plan? So I explained to him in my mind, this was how things were going. This is what I wanted. You know, I didn't actually at that stage know how to express what was going on in my head.
Yeah.
And after explaining to him, he went around and he told the crew, like, this is what we want. This is actually what we need. Where's the smoke machine? Let's, gas this place up. Let's make it lit. And it came out something like what I had in mind. You know, obviously having that broken telephone sort of message, it didn't come out exact, but it was more or less what I had in mind. But that for me was a huge learning curve with the editing as well.
Yeah.
I was there for less than a week and I was being given work and got told this needs to be done by the end of the week. Here's a little bit of a template. This is what we had in mind. And then you've got reviews and reviews and reviews. And that as well it was such a shocker because, you know, even at AFDA, we weren't under that pressure.
Yes.
You know, it was months before we made our first film. And here I walked
hours.
in. Yeah, it was hours. I walked in and they're like, here's footage, here's a song, here's a bank of sound effects, make.
Yeah.
And at that stage, you're a bit flustered because make what? You know, they give you the script and I'm like, okay, do I stick to the script? Do I not? And there's all these questions. But yeah, I really think a baptism of fire is the perfect way to enter because it prepares you for anything that comes your way afterwards.
So you call Gareth. Gareth is the owner of TNW, which is the sports agency. He comes, he holds your hand basically for your directing gig.
Yeah.
Does he now do the same in editing with your first piece? So instead of you just receiving footage and having to cut it, does he say, we have to tell a story? And this is how we tell a story, and this is what we want to see. Big frame first, close-ups. Was it that prescriptive, or did he just let you mess up 17 times and threaten you?
I think towards the end of my time there, that's what it was like. No, I think at first they gave me the opportunity to sort of express myself. Through the editing. They gave me a template, they gave me footage, and they said, listen, this is, so it was actually for the maintenance of I think it was Vodacom Super Rugby, which I think is actually a nice thing to start with because there's a template and you get to slowly come into it, you know. So for the first 2 weeks, I did exactly what I was told. And in the third week, I was like, but screw this. This thing can be a bit better.
Yeah.
You know, so I added a couple more sound effects. I didn't want to say this, but I cut the boards shorter. So they were supposed to be 3 seconds, but I cut them to 2.5 seconds to add another shot here and there. But yeah, and then eventually you start getting into the hang of it. But he did come with a lot of pressure when it came to sort of the launch promos. The maintenance stuff, because we'd have the seniors cut 1 or 2 and there's a template and you kind of stick to that template and it doesn't change. However, the launch promos it's completely up. I don't want to say completely up to you, but it's on you to create it, you know? And that is kind of where the big pressure comes from. When it's up to you, you're the one selecting the song, you're the one setting the tempo, or, you know, you selecting these shots. And sometimes, I mean, I've worked on so many projects where it doesn't work, what the director had in mind. And I've shot things that haven't worked. You know, I had I had what I wanted. We filmed that, and it genuinely just doesn't work when you edit it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the beauty of editors come in, where you take something where it's just not gelling and you need to find a way to make it gel.
Yeah.
And I think that's where editors shine, man.
Fast forward to 2018, the Loeries ranked you number 11. Best in category as an editor. What is that ranking based on?
So it's on the work, I believe it's on the work that you've done throughout the previous year, which was what I had the opportunity to work on that year was the Soccer World Cup. So we did the FIFA stories.
Yes.
And all of that. And so I was the online editor for those stories. We had, as you know, Lauren and Kewen doing the offline stuff. So I came in as more of a finisher.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that is what kind of rocketed me up there, because not only were those things shot brilliantly, you know, our offline editors did a brilliant job at telling the stories. And it was just amazing how it all turned out. I believe you were also involved there.
I was involved, but this is not about me. So with the Loeries are a marketing excellence kind of competition. And to be ranked anywhere in association with that is of great prestige. Yeah. And it puts you right up there with the important people. Going back down to the basics of now editing, there's offlining and now you touched a bit on onlining. What's the difference between the two?
So an offline editor would basically be the person to tell the basic story. You know, you'd go out there, you'd make the selects, you'd maybe cut a piece of music that you believe would fit this piece. You'd basically structure the story. An online editor would then come in and basically add the salt, you know, add the spice, maybe trim a couple of frames here, trim a couple of frames there, so it's hitting the beats better, a bit of color grading there, adding more sound effects, and basically, like I'm saying, just adding the spice to what the offline editors have already done.
What has been your best project as an offliner?
As an offliner, that would definitely, I think, be the... What a question. Now I must go through the banks and the files. I don't know if this counts because I did everything, you know, I did the whole process, but we did for when the British and Irish Lions came down.
Yes.
We did a project. Basically, the premise of this thing was people are speaking in the local languages and what they are saying, and the translation subtitles are not corresponding. So these people are basically saying "futsak," and the subtitles are like "nice to see you again." And I think that one, it really pushed me because I've never done anything sort of comical before. And that was the first time I did something comical. And there was a certain rhythm change, you know, because a lot of the sports things, it's all hype and it's all emotion. And yes, something being comical is, you know, it makes you laugh, it makes you happy, but it's a different way of editing, which was interesting to me, you know, and it also pushed my boundaries in terms of onlining because of the color grading. You know, they shot throughout the day, so there's different temperatures, there's different, you know, different lighting setups and things, and it was my job to try and sort of bring it all together. And man, did I struggle.
Yeah.
That was a learning curve. YouTube was my friend. Okay? Let me not lie. But yeah, I think that the British and Irish Lions, that was definitely, I think, my favorite one.
Coming into it for the first time, what is your process? So like, as a writer, you find a quiet space, you set up your laptop, you try to get into the groove, you start writing, and you write really, it's like free thought, you know? What is it like as an editor when you get a project? Because there's the filing that needs to happen. You have to now have a sequence. You keep mentioning a template. What are all those things?
So I think people have got their own process. My process is basically I will read the script and go through the footage and make some selects. After that, I think for me is music. And I will go, I'm not joking, I would go through about 200 songs. And what happens for me is I will find a song, and I kid you not, it will sound a bit crazy, but it's like as soon as I hear the song, I know this is the song, this is exactly what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to cut it, these are the sound effects I'm going to use. It's like it just all comes together in that moment.
Yes.
You know, it might be that I saw a shot, and as I'm listening to this song, I literally see the shot go, oh, that's cool, and what will come after, and what will come after. And then in my mind, I kind of do like a speed build of what I would do. And then I download the song, cut it according to what I'd like, and then work from there. Other people would take a song and butcher it to work for what they have in mind. You know, whereas I work with the song, they make the song work for them.
Yes.
And I both are absolutely, I think both are amazing. You know, I find it incredible. I struggle with that a little, making the song work for what I want. I struggle with that a little. And I find it so amazing when I watch people's edits and I'm like, yo, they slowed the song down. They played this part backwards. They did this, they did that. And all these other tools, like I'm saying, this continuous learning, you know, that I'm now taking from watching and experiencing what other people have done. But yeah, back to the process. So we've now opened the project.
Yes.
We've made a little sequence. We've done selects. You've selected your music. You've cut your music. And that's when you kind of start building your edit. And I think in the same light, what I want to say is that sound is as important as picture. Because at least for me, if I'm watching, a video will never give me goosebumps. Like just watching something, it'll never give me goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know, it's the music, the sound effects, the people crying in the scene, the children laughing in the scene. It's all of that put together that it just, when it works, it works.
Of things that work, what have been some of your favorite projects?
So during lockdown, we kind of got free reign at TNW. We were literally the briefs were coming straight from client, going past people and coming straight to the editors, which was fantastic for us because, you know, you just do whatever you want, you know, you get the footage and you just cut. There was no scripting, and it had to do with the relive, you know, because there was no live sports. And they were re-showing all the iconic games of the past, and you got to cut these promos using all this iconic footage. I think we did a fantastic job. I think those were definitely my favorites and the ones I enjoyed the most. Because I come from the promo world, moving into something like Chasing the Sun and Two Sides, that was difficult for me. The long form stuff, because my brain for 4 years, I was wired to this 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes max. My brain was wired that way. And I had to completely break that way of thinking and that way of editing where I'm like, I can leave the shot on for longer. We can see Mapimpi there crying or Rassi, shedding a tear, whatever it might be. And that change of mindset was also quite interesting because, something that was supposed to be 10 minutes long when I was done with it was 2 minutes.
Yes.
Because of that promo mindset. And they were like, but you're cutting all the life
You're
out
losing
of it.
all of the nice moments.
Yeah. And so it really took me a while to get the hang of it. And I think because of the people I had around me also supporting me and saying, no, dude, leave it. Oh, he's done talking. Yes, but leave it for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You can see the emotion in his face, and that also got me back to what I learned at AFDA, because it's a film school and that's what we were taught, leave those little moments of emotion and whatnot. And I kind of had forgotten that during my promo days.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Chasing the Sun, though, definitely is. This is one of my tops.
Yeah, I wanted to get to Chasing the Sun. How or when do you decide to draw the line? Because there's leaving something on screen so that the moment simmers, or at least the dust settles.
Yes.
And when are you overcooking it? When it's just like, now we're watching somebody for 2 minutes.
That I think is instinctual, hey? Very much. Because I remember stumbling across a film that was shown, and it was this horrific scene of this lady being raped, right? And they had the camera on her face. And for, I think it was all of 2.5 minutes.
Sure.
They just showed her face, and you didn't see much of anything else, but you knew what was going on. And that was traumatizing for me.
I'm already, yeah.
I was like, I kept telling myself, just cut. Like, but afterwards I understood why, It's to instill that feeling that the character had at that moment in you. And if they had that shot on for 10 seconds, it would have just been brushed aside and been like, oh yeah, she's traumatized. But the fact that it just stayed.
And it makes you uncomfortable.
It makes you uncomfortable, which is, that was the whole point, But I think it's very much an instinct thing. You as the editor, if you feel like, okay, cut, 1, 2, yeah, this is right. Sometimes it goes to the music, but other times it's a very personal thing, because if it connects with you, chances are it's going to connect with your audience.
Yeah. After all that training, baptism by fire, you finally spread your wings. You leave daddy's nest, you go out into the big bad world. How are you finding that?
It's been interesting. You learn that there are a lot of personalities out there that are very different to, as you said, daddy's world, where I was sort of born and raised, TNW. It's and different people's perspectives and how they view things. TNW, their motto is tell great stories, and that's essentially what we were drilled to do. Over and above it looking flashy, sacrificing the flashy part. It had to be an amazing story, right? And that's, I think, where because it's been drilled into me for 4 years, I still edit that way. If it's not speaking to me and it's not telling me something, I don't want to say it's rubbish, but it's rubbish.
If it's not giving you goosebumps.
Yeah, if it's not giving me goosebumps, it's rubbish. That means most of my work is rubbish. After I left, just bumping into the different personalities and learning that there's a big, wide world out there of people who have different perspectives and they view things differently. And some people will sacrifice the story for the flash, and some people will sacrifice the flash for the story. It's incredible, and meeting all these people and learning from them once again. That's the big thing. Don't block yourself off from, just because someone does things differently, there's always an element of what someone can do that can enhance what you do. And that's it for me, man. And I've been thriving. And I think a part of it comes from not only doing great work, but also trying to be a great person. So when the time comes that you need to put in those extra hours, put in the damn extra hours, When the time comes for you to, bite your tongue. Just sometimes you need to do as you're told, other times you stand up for what you've done.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice balance of, because we don't do these things on our own. So managing people is also like a big thing, especially when you are a freelancer.
Yes.
Managing relationships, making sure they don't forget that you exist, so that they can call you back. I think is also it's one of the big things that I've learned over the past, especially couple months. My first thought after leaving TNW was to open my own agency.
Yeah.
So I've registered that and everything. But I'm in an interesting spot now where I'm not sure whether to push that or continue with the freelance, because the freelance has been working.
Yeah.
So it's been an exciting and interesting space. And
What is the impacts that you hope to leave?
The impact, so that's a deep one. I think one of the big things for me it's gonna sound weird, but I want to be remembered as you don't even have to be a great editor. You can be a great person, half decent editor. I think I'm a bit more than that. But yeah, I wanna leave an impression on the next generation. That's it for me. I had a couple of people that helped me further my career a lot faster than they had the opportunity to further their careers. And in the same light, I would like to give my knowledge to people so that they don't have to bump their heads the same way I bumped my head, and they don't have to get shouted at the way I got shouted. They don't have to, be sworn at and have laptops thrown and I mean we've come a long way, been through a lot, and I think sometimes I don't want these kids and these young people to go through the same nonsense, man.
Now with your new venture, Alpha Generation, or your freelancing gig, how do people get a hold of you?
So a lot of the work has actually been coming through my Instagram page, which is, it's funny, it's got nothing to do with my name, it's got nothing to do with the company. It's @that_editing_guy. My videos have been going around and people have been contacting me via Instagram, but my email address is all good and well. It's chad.c.pop@gmail.com.
So chad.c.pop.
Yes.
Because your second name, Carver.
Yes.
All right.
I'm telling you, even more of a
packaging of a superstar. So people can reach you at chad.c.pop@gmail.com or on your Instagram account.
Yes, indeed.
Any parting words or questions that you feel like I didn't ask?
I think the importance of editors must never be understated. Those are the people who put the work together. Those are the people that can make or break a film or series or promo or anything like that. And it's the people who take what was the term? I learned this in AFDA. You polish a turd gold. So you take shit,
yes,
and you polish it as an editor and you turn it into gold.
Not if you get trash in, you're going to get trash out.
Hey man, our job is to make the trash gold. Our job is to recycle, reuse, and make it work. That's our job. And I think people underestimate how much work, time, and effort goes into these things. They really, really do. Because they think you hit a button and all of a sudden it's done.
Yeah, there's no edit button on your machine. Button.
It's hours and hours of watching it over and over and over and pushing and starting again and again and again.
Yeah.
21 versions of a 30-second edit to the point where you want to cry, but you have to do it.
And they hate all of them.
I'm telling you.
Thank you so much. That was Chad Pop. In the next episode, we'll be joined by Umfanelo Waganjoko, and he's going to talk to us about screening films in the township. I'm still Gino Shedile. Goodbye and keep binging.
The African Couch Potato, the measure.